So BYU draws Wyoming for the Poinsettia Bowl. I thought I'd take a look at some of the film, show you what they do well. They have a really good running back in Brian Hill, and they've got a pretty dang good quarterback in Josh Allen. Those are two pretty decent players on the offensive side of the ball. And this Wyoming offense is capable of making some big plays. And I just wanted to take a look here at Brian Hill, the running back. He averages about 5.5 yards a carry. He is right now the nation's fourth leading rusher, and he's sure-handed, and he does a lot of things really well. They love to run this basic formation here. They do this a lot. They're going to run a G lead where they fold this guard right behind the center, and then they try to just get any type of gap separation that they possibly can. And you'll see that Brian Allen is very good. Sorry, Brian Hill is very good at finding his way through gaps. He will break arm tackles. You cannot make arm tackles. You see there's two arm tackles broken right there. And then he's got good vision. He gets on his receiver's hip, follows him for about another 5, 6, 7 yards, and then another broken tackle and fights for the first down. He is a hard runner. And because of what he's able to do, they are able to run these play action looks off of that same blocking scheme where they'll fake the give to, whether it's Brian Hill or Brian's backup, but they'll fake the give, and they love to look downfield. And their tight end, number 88, is a menace. Their play action game is good because of their run game. And as I've continued to watch film on Wyoming, that's going to be the most difficult aspect for BYU. They've got to stop up the run so that the play action is not as aggressive and as available as it was against Boise State and has been all year for Wyoming. Here's another thing I really like from Wyoming's offensive game. This is their tight end, Hollister, number 88. I just showed you what he's able to do in route off play actions, and he's a pretty stinking good offensive player. But I want you to watch this. This is a screenplay, and it's another thing that makes Wyoming's offense really good when you've got a defense that's getting pressure, and I'm sure BYU's defense is going to be able to get pressure. They run this screen look, and I want you to watch Hollister right here. He's gonna start the block, but he actually slips right in front of the offensive line and then comes right back between and sits right about here for this screen. And I love this screenplay. It's one of my favorite screenplays. You'll see there's motion, fake pitch, quarterback's rolling around, and he's going to get the defenders all going one way. Now, right there's Hollister. Watch him start to kind of slip behind, and then he comes back through that offensive line, and the quarterback does a really nice job of delivering that ball to him. And he does a good job. You got blocks downfield because you've got that screen look. You've got a lot of your linemen that get upfield, and they're creating those big blocks upfield, and he stumbles a bit, but a really nice long gain. He's a big, athletic, physical tight end, and he is going to be a tough match for BYU. I think the BYU will be fine because I think Fred Warner does well with big boys. I think Harvey Longy does a good job with big boys like this, so I think they're going to be fine, but that guy right there is pretty dang talented. So here you're going to see the play action gets Boise State again. Three-man backfield set, and this is an H-back. That's their tight end. He's going to leak right out into route, and you see that the Boise State defense has to respect this Wyoming run game. You got Brian Hill back here in the backfield, so you got to respect the run game. They're going to fake the give, and watching Hollister, their tight end, get out of the backfield. Just really nice play action and wide open. No defender over the top of him, and he's able to rumble in for the touchdown. That tight end is very athletic, very good. BYU has to put extra attention on him. And Wyoming's play action game is so solid. I'm not showing you enough of the run game, what Brian Hill's able to do in the run game, but that run game is what's setting up a lot of these backfield mistakes for Boise State's defense. It is tough to defend against when you've got a run game that's that dominant. And like I mentioned, Brian Hill, the fourth leading rusher in the country, with 5.5 yards per carry. It's really tough to defend against these play action plays when they break out of the backfield. Wyoming can also get really quirky on the defensive side of the ball. Here's a 3rd and 18, and they're going to overload the defense left. And your center's got to recognize it, instantly come to the right. And your guard also has to recognize it. The guard has to be careful that nothing comes back his way, but he needs to slide over. You're going to have 5 guys that should slide to be able to block against 4. And this is the kind of stuff that BYU is going to deal with. That center and that guard, that center and that left guard have to get over, and they've got to help seal these quick guys. And Wyoming does this where they're just going to put in fast guys that have good rip techniques and can spark gaps and get around on end arounds and all kinds of twists and try to create confusion in the backfield. And BYU's got to do a good job against these funky defensive fronts where they'll overload and try to get mismatch in numbers, because they're not mismatching with size. These guys are undersized. But you see right there, that twist package and that defensive front on 3rd and 18 leads to a sack for a smaller guy. And, against it, you had the numbers up front. You should be able to block that. You've got the numbers. Your offensive line just has to be on the right page. And I think that's one reason I believe BYU is going to get a pretty dominant win, or not a dominant win, but a sure win against Wyoming. They've got a couple extra weeks to prepare for some of these defensive fronts, and also to prepare for some of these play action looks that they're going to get from Wyoming on the offensive side of the ball. So I feel really comfortable with BYU's ability to pick up these stunts, these overloads, these quirky defensive fronts, and try to slow down Wyoming's momentum. I know I'm spending a lot of time on these play action looks, but here's another play action look, and they love to get their H-back or their tight end in a fullback set on wheel routes and different routes and get him open looks. And I'm going to show you why BYU has to put extra attention on him. They're just going to run him out here on a wheel route, and he's going to break off the edge. Nice fake there to Brian Hill again. Same type of play action look, but look at this guy's ability to catch the ball. Catches it one-handed there in the left hand, gets the foot down and comes down with that thing. Guy's a real talent. Fun to watch. In all my film breakdown for Wyoming, he's been my most favorite guy to watch. Definitely had a great game against Boise State. Also, I want to show you a traditional pocket here, and this is kind of Tanner Mangum-esque. Boise State's going to bring the house. They're going to try to get pressure, and you're going to see Josh Allen take the snap, steps up in the pocket collapses, works himself to the right side of the ball, and I see him work. Anytime he scrambles and he's looking to throw on the scramble, he's large. A lot of the time he's working to the right side, and this is what he does well. He's got good arm strength on the run. Pivots off that right foot and unleashes this deep to the back of the end zone, and Wyoming comes down. All right, last thing here. This is how Wyoming gets you with these undersized defensive linemen. 57 is going to pull an end around here. He's just going to come off the back end of this defensive end that's going to come down. And ultimately, this is the play that gives Wyoming the win. It's tied 28-28 with 1:32 left in this game. And I want you to watch that defensive twist on the right side. And like I said, these guys are undersized. I mean, that should be stopped up. Your left tackle should slam down on that defensive end. He should slide over, and before this guy gets any step, don't kick back here. You got to slam down on this guy. Instead, he kicks back, turns the corner. This defensive tackle gets around, hits the quarterback, knocks the ball out of his hand, and there's your safety, your 2 points, and your 30-28 win for Wyoming over Boise State. This is a very beatable Wyoming team. I think BYU beats them by 10 plus. but they are very capable on the offensive side and very quirky on the defensive side. Screens, run game, play action set, they're very capable, but BYU is very capable at defending it. And BYU with their takeaway game, they should have a +2 margin on Wyoming, in my opinion, and come out of this Poinsettia Bowl with a victory.